Good morning guys, I'm Chris and welcome back to this Sunday's episode of Rift Amps. Right, I finally found time to get back on with Ed's custom build. Now, for those that don't know, Ed contacted me last, I think it was July, and said he wanted me to build for him a version of the Cornford RK100, but a 50-watt version, and obviously, fully hand-wired in the Rift way and all that sort of thing. And I agreed, and I've been working on it slowly, as I do with custom builds, because they have to be right, over, since then, really. You last saw this amp, I think it was at back end of November, where the amp was up and running on the bench, but it wasn't performing as it should do. The reason it wasn't performing is because, and I'll just get a schematic to show you. The schematic that is available online, which is not an official schematic, even though it's presented as though it is this one here. We zoom you in? We zoom you in. And as you can see with this amplifier, here's your input here. First half of a 12AX7, but it's also boosted by this transistor stage here, which in the way it's configured in the amp is that it's always on, or it's naturally on in its default position, and then you use the foot switch to what am I trying to say, to switch it off so it works like an underboost. So naturally it's on, and then you can defeat it with the foot switch to turn it off and get your clean sound, which is a cool way of doing it if that's what you want to do. Now, I originally built the amp as this schematic is drawn. Turns out it's not entirely correct, doesn't work as it was intended to, and there were some issues. Essentially the boost circuit wasn't working at all, mainly down to a misprint on that schematic. So once I'd figured that all out, I got the thing working, up and running. The boost circuit now works. However, it was boosting too much, by a lot, so much that it just made the amp completely unstable, and it was just completely, just mad, absolutely crazy. So I had to put it to one side to get some other stuff done, as you know. And with custom builds, it's always the worst thing you can do is do a little bit every now and again. You need to find time to sit down and really get yourself into it, and make good progress. Otherwise, you forget where you are, you end up making mistakes, and then you end up in like a death spiral, trying to work stuff out. So I had a customer booked in today who was going to bring their amp in for repair, and they didn't show, which means I had an afternoon spare to have a look at this amp again. And it's been long enough now that I can come back to it and look at it with fresh eyes and work out what's going on. So good news, I have now got the boost circuit boosting at the correct level and working the way I want. It's still going to work as an underboost, so naturally it's on, and then you use the foot switch to defeat it. But I'll show you how that works. I've got it up and running on the scope. Try and get everything in. There we go. So this is with the boost off at the moment, and the amp is really healthy. If I find the point of clipping there and I just back it down to there, that's where it's nice and clean. I've just dialed out any crossover distortion, so it's biased just at the right point where it's happening. It's doing 22 volts RMS output into 8 ohms, which gives us 60 watts. Right, so it's actually doing a bit more than the 50 watts we intended it to, but that's fine. I mean, this is 60 watts clean. What do we need to get 50 watts? We need 20 volts. So we'll drop it down to 20 volts. Not a lot between the two. There you go, that's 20. Super clean. Lovely. Okay. So that's with the boost off. So it would do 20 watts, it would do 50, 60 watts clean with the boost off. And I'm going to simulate the foot switch just by removing this jumper cable. And you'll see we get a boost like that. Underboost, overboost. Underboost, overboost. Okay. So if we have that set now in the underboost mode, we'll go up to 50 watts again. There we go. Kick the solo boost in, and we get 24 volts output, which is 72 watts. So you get a nice boost there. I think that's going to be fantastic. We'll go back. We could look at it the other way. We could have the boost on, find our maximum clean point there. You'll notice the sine wave looks different because there, 21 volts, which is 55 watts. And then underboost it down to 13.2. Call it 13.5, which is down to 23, 24 watts. So yeah, you're going to get a nice, noticeable boost there, which I think is great. The amp initially was also, obviously because it was so gainy when it was overboosting by so much, quite hissy, which has now improved. Now we've got the boost level to more appropriate level, but I've done some bits and pieces as well just to try and tame that down and get it where I want it to be. So I'm now happy for Ed to come and play this amp. I'm going to ask him to bring with him the cabinet and speakers that he intends to use with this. It's going to be a head. So he brings those, and then we can spend some time tweaking it for him to get it responding and playing and sounding the way he wants. Which is a really good thing. But yeah, you can see, boosty boosty. Very nice. So it's treble, middle bass, presence, master, and obviously your preamp control, which is a dual gang pot. Got an effects loop, which is valve driven. So we've got a triode. I think it's in the recovery side, isn't it? Yeah. And an 8 ohm and a 16 ohm output. Nice and simple. So it's a really cool amp, really cool amp. So yeah, just thought I'd give you an update on that really. I'm going to invite Ed down, he can play it, he can see what he thinks, we'll make some changes, and if he's happy with it, then we need to make a decision on the aesthetics of the amp, because we've yet to decide what Tolex it's going to be, what colour faceplates it's going to have, all that kind of stuff. So I'll be interested to see what he decides to do, but we're not going to make any of those decisions until he's happy with the way it sounds and plays. So it's Friday again. Weeks are going very quick lately, which is unusual for January, let's be honest. But here we are. And do you know what? It's been one of those weeks where I've been working really hard and I've done loads of stuff, but it feels like I've got nothing done. A progress week, right? Where you're just making small bits of progress on loads of different jobs. And because you don't get that satisfaction of, you know, hitting a big milestone, it always feels like you've not achieved anything and you've kind of wasted the week when in fact you haven't. I've got loads of jobs done, which makes everything else down the line a lot quicker and a lot easier. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit deflated, but you know, it's just the way it is. I've made good progress on this custom 1 watt build. I was hoping to get this thing fired up today, but we'll see. Just doing what have I got to do left on it? Not much actually. I've got to do I'm just doing the speaker output jacks, final output transformer wiring, heaters, and then I think I can fire this up and give it an initial play test. So yeah, I'm not far off from that. So maybe that will be my end of day achievement, as it were. Anyway, I was just looking at it's NAMM week. NAMM in California, and I've just been looking through the news. You know, all of the, the main guitar news websites. Guitar.com is the one I usually check. They report what all the manufacturers are coming out with and stuff. And so far this year, I have seen nothing that really excites me. It makes me go, oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Previous NAMMs, there's always been some cool stuff, but I'm just looking through now at the main news. And let me know down below if you've seen anything that you thought was interesting. But we've got the Fender launches the Indonesian-made Standard Series, bringing the cheapest new Fender models you can buy. And I think they start at $600 each. So have they now further blended the line between the top of the range Squier stuff and the lower end Fender stuff? Don't know. Doesn't really grab me, that. But then again, to make a guitar for $600 or to sell a guitar for $600 means they're probably building them for $250, $300. And you have to ask yourself what gives. But it might be a good thing. Charvel's now doing some relic stuff. Cool. Okay. Not really into Charvels or Charvels, but I do like relic stuff. So yeah, I mean the guitar they've shown, like a Super Strat, looks pretty cool, I guess, but not really for me. Jackson's got some new stuff for metalheads. Gretsch is doing some cheap entry-level acoustics. Standard stuff, really, nothing amazing. Sakalis Audio Works have got a new envelope filter pedal, and octave pedal for funk stuff. Cool. Great. Taylor's got a new gold label collection. Promises a sound unlike anything that's ever been produced. Right, okay. Fine. Electro Harmonics have got a golden version of its classic small stone phaser with a chip from the original circuit. Oh, great. There are enough chips to make 600 pedals. Right, and let me guess, they're going to find 600 more in a year's time. I should say, I'm filming this on a Friday, so if there's any further announcements throughout the weekend, obviously they haven't come out as far as where I am. So hopefully there's more stuff, but yeah, bear that in mind. Don't shout at me in the comments if I missed something, because it was released after I filmed this segment. Tonex stuff with Joe Satriani pedals, sounds, right, okay. More budget-friendly models from ESP. Are we getting a theme here? Everything's going budget. Sterling by Music Man launches 6 new affordable models. Right, okay, so it's a race to the bottom. Roland launches the JC120 Jazz Chorus plugin. Great. There you go. It is opposite end of the scale. Martin's 3 millionth serialized instrument is a diamond-encrusted masterpiece. Okay. Although the serial number is 3,000,002. Any idea? No, me neither. The best guitar that happened in history. Rammstein's Richard Kruspe launches new signature ESP limited guitar. Something for the metalers then. Gibson have given £250,000 to LA Fardwire relief. Okay. I mean, it's saying here they reckon it's over $200 billion worth of damage, so 250k is not really going to scratch the surface, is it? But, at least they're giving something. Walrus Young have a new signature pedal for Yvette Young. Boss's new cables are inspired by its classic pedals. So you can now buy guitar cables in the same colours as your Boss pedals. Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Are we really now scraping the bottom of the barrel of what these people are coming up with? Right. Boss explores new ground in amp modelling with the VG800. Boss has launched the VG800 V Guitar processor, a new amp modeler and effects processor that promises to emulate the sound of a wealth of stringed instruments. Explore alternative tunings at the push of a button, and loads more. They've also expanded the... Boss launches the Waza Tube Expander Core, whatever that means. See, nothing here is just like really getting me excited. Blah, 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 blah. Keep going. Maybach Guitars pulls out of NAMM. Why, have they said? Oh, because of the wildfires. Okay. Mesa Boogie is reviving the dual rectifier. The new iteration will hit the market on the 14th of January, so that's already happened, has it? With Mesa Boogie describing it as a faithful recreation of the original model with some welcome upgrades like improved cleans that enhance but don't distract. Okay. Gibson are bringing back the RD model. Martin overhauls its standard series in response to player requests. What does that mean? The brand has overhauled its standard series for the first time since 2018, incorporating player demands onto 3 new models. Such changes include Sitka Spruce Golden Era top bracings, so they're changing the bracing inside the amps, in the bodies. Great. A new GE modified low oval neck profile and thinner fretboards with beveled edges and refined string spacing in the nuts. Yay! Light Jam have got a guitar with light up fret markers. 150 of them. Cool. And that's it. Pretty much no amp stuff. Have I missed something? There's what? No amp stuff at all? Let's go back again. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Fender launches its cheapest Acoustasonic models ever. Gibson have got a custom run of 1955 Les Pauls. No, Gibson commemorates 1955 NAMM show with run of custom colour Les Pauls. Right. Nothing. Nothing about amps. Friedman have got a new model. There we go. A Jose limited edition thing. Oh, okay, so 1 amp. That's it. Don't know about you, but yeah. Not exactly exciting, is it? Yeah. I've yet to have the urge to get my credit card out and buy something. So, bit of a damp squib. Right, just been making up a new template board for Al6. I've made a few slight position changes of eyelets and things, so I can improve wire runs and bits like that. But the main thing that I really wanted to do is the spacing of these bias pots. It's really awkward to get right on the program, so I did those manually, and now I've got it exactly. He says not being able to get it in there. There you go, exactly where I want it to be. So that's now going to sit in there perfectly when the eyelets are in place. So really happy about that. So now next stage is to get those two together, get that one on top, bond it all together, or hold it all together I should say, and then I can drill through and get 2 boards done. Up and running then, the little custom 1 watter on the bench. I'll show you it's doing into 8 ohms. Oh, come on, get rotated. There you go. You see in the bottom left hand corner there, 2.96 volts. We'll call it 3 volts output into 8 ohms is 1.1 watts. And that's a really nice sine wave. So I'm really happy with that. It does a bit more, but it starts to then square off. And the most I can get out of it all the way up there, 5 should we call it 5.5, which is 3.8 watts, which is why 1 watt amps can often still be too loud for home use. But yeah, that's a really nice clean 1 watt there. And you start to get some shaping, anything above that. So yeah, it's great. Really happy. Really happy. So I'm going to leave that running for a bit. At 1 watt output, it's pulling. And I had to replace this, by the way, because the other one died. Today's wall voltage, 243 volts. It's pulling, at rated output, 140 milliamps out the wall. If I crank it, being that it's a Class A single-ended, stays the same. Very nice. So we'll go back to 3 watts. 1 watt, sorry. So 20 watts is all it pulls out the wall. So, yeah, so that's 1 watt output for 20 watts out the wall. So that's really inefficient, right? We go back to our amps. So if that's what it pulls from the wall, the general rule of thumb is your mains fuse, and there are other ways to calculate this, but you know, this is what it's doing. Is you take that figure, whatever it pulls out the wall, or the maximum that it pulls out the wall during normal operation, and you double it, and that's your time delay fuse value. So we would round that up to 150 milliamps, and then we'd double it to 300 milliamps. So the mains fuse on this would be a 300 milliamp fuse. Now that's probably, I mean, the standard values go 250 and then 500, so it will be a decision between the two. Probably stick with 500, half an amp. But yeah, there you go. Really cool, really interesting. But it's running great, this amp. It's how to describe it? It's 2-gain stage, simple circuit, kind of think along the lines of a champ, but not quite. Driving a single EL84, single-ended mode. It's actually biased pretty cool. We're biased at 63% of maximum, which is partly where the drop in output comes from. But you can see originally when I first fired it up, my screen voltage was 9 volts higher than my anode, so I had to swap some values around to bring it down, which I've now done, and it's running great. So yeah, that build is now done, just waiting for cabinet and faceplates and stuff, and then the customer can have it. Cool thing about this, it's got an 8 ohm output, but it's also got a line out for recording, so you can run it without a load. It's got a dummy load inside, you can just see it there, and record directly from the back of it. So yeah, really cool little custom build, quite happy with it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a single input, single volume control, on off switch, and that's it. IEC on the back. Yeah, there's not really much to report. Very simple build. But yeah, if you are interested in custom builds, get in touch. One job that I do need to get around to is replacing the vents on this AC15 cabinet. So let's have a go. See if we can work out what we need to do. All that kind of stuff. Oh, there's a storm coming outside. Yeah, we haven't done a weather update for a while. Storm Owen, or Erwin, Eowyn, hit Ireland last night. Looks like there's a lot of damage. Had a red weather warning. We haven't really had anything apart from some mild gusts. So, yeah. A lot of extreme weather events at the moment. Oh yeah, we're going to have to clean up that wax as well. Right, so remind me, what was I doing? Oh yeah, these vents at the front. Can we get in and have a look? Let's decobweb first, shall we? Okay, so here's, well, that vent's just come out. That one was already broken. Was that the one that had the, yeah, that's the one that's got the stud stuck in it. It's there. So will it be possible to push that out? Yes. Ho ho ho! You beauty. Out she comes. Okay. Right. What's the others coming out too? So that one's already out at the top. Can you see what I'm doing? No, because I've zoomed you in. This one's already out. The middle one's just come out. It's just this bottom one here. One side's moving. Can you see? Yeah. Sorry if I'm blocking it with my bald head. And she's out. And there she is. Well, that was easy enough. Thought it was going to be tricky. You still see? You can still see. You can still see. Just seen that that one's got one stuck in too. Excellent. So let's get you zoomed out again. Let's get his vents in. Okay, yeah, so it was the two Vox vents on the outside and the blank one in the middle. That's the way he wants it to be. So I put those in, and these two are nice and snug. Don't think they're coming out, but this one at the bottom. So we've got to redowel that hole, I think. I think the easiest non-destructive way we carve up a skewer. Half a skewer wedge in each one. We can just wedge it in there. It's not going to make a permanent change to it, is it? These are only bamboo anyway, so the whole depth is that much. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. I know this is really exciting to watch, I'm sorry. Riveting. There you go, we'll go over a quarter skewer. Oh, that's actually worked a treat. Nice and firm. Love that. Perfect. Okay. That was easy enough then, wasn't it? Got to give this cabinet a bit of a good old clean. Freshen it up a little bit. I do want to re-look at this. Oh, you can't even see, look. God damn it. So I want to give this speaker wiring a bit of a clean up. Work out what on earth is going on in there. Yeah, we've got to, as I mentioned before, clean up the wax deposit from the transformer. And there was something else on his list. What was else on the list? Ah, yeah. That's something I haven't done yet. Need to find a new bottom for his foot switch. There used to be a place that sold them. I'm going to go online now, see if I can find it. But yeah, need to find a new bottom for his egg foot switch. And then we're getting somewhere. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. Somebody commented on last week's video about the Music Man and said that it should actually have EL34s, not the 6L6s that are currently installed in it. Well, unfortunately, that's not correct because the sockets are not wired for EL34s. If they were, pin 8 and pin 1 would be connected together. But they're not, so this is a 6L6 amp from the factory. Well, as always, please give this video a thumbs up. All your comments and questions, anything like that, down below for next week's Q&A. Subscribe if you haven't already. As you know, we hit 5,000 subscribers and that number's climbed a little bit more now, so let's keep going. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever I post a new video. If you're feeling super generous, join the channel like these guys did, and I will catch you all at the next one.